bystander is someone who like sees something happen but doesn't always like speak up about it.
Okay, the word bystander to me means, a spectator, someone who's, watching something happen, but they're important because, in my opinion, bystanders need to take action if something's going wrong, or else, they're not a good bystander.
The cameras are on and the posts are going viral. We've all witnessed something go horribly wrong in person or on social media that becomes national news overnight. Sigma Tau Gamma calls brothers to be noble gentlemen. But when put in tough situations, our gut and even our instincts can be challenged. Let's talk about how to handle this. Welcome to the 3 things: how to have a high level of integrity. Today, we're going to talk about how to have a high level of integrity when put in a compromising situation. First, let's talk about what exactly stops us from taking action, even when there's an overwhelming feeling something is wrong. Our research says one important thing happens internally, and it's called pluralistic ignorance. This is just a fancy term for the psychology of our choice to opt out, and it sounds like no one else is speaking up or standing up, so I shouldn't either. It's like when you're in class and you have a question, but you think you're the only one who doesn't get it, so you don't raise your hand. Meanwhile, the rest of the class is thinking the exact same thing. Aren't you relieved when finally someone does raise their hand and asks the same thing you were thinking? Those people are the best. Most of us have a strong force inside us that calls us to intervene, but in group settings, we usually just look at what everyone else is doing. Unbeknownst to us, they're doing the same thing, which leads to an absence of action. Our advice sounds simple, which is to process the opt-out feeling, but it can be challenging. So here's a tip. We suggest you add a layer by quickly asking a question to get some direction. Here are some recommendations. What should we all do? Who knows where we can get help? Or does this seem weird to you? Are all good options. Take the lead and jumpstart the first steps instead of waiting for someone else to do it. Likely, you will put everyone else into action immediately. Second, the best defense is a good offense. It's smart to know people you can reach out to if you need help in different situations, and B, have a plan in your head in advance of anything happening. Who could you ask for help if you thought there was hazing happening in another fraternity on campus? What would you do if you saw a person being physically taken advantage of in a grocery store or at the gym? Then think about who can help you. Think about what you need to do to make sure everyone is safe, and think about how to handle this with integrity. A few minutes of pre-planning will help you stick to your principles in tough situations. Lastly, and most importantly, you need to remember that integrity is not reserved for a leadership position. It isn't a title, it isn't a gold star, and it isn't just for someone with power. It doesn't matter if you're a company's CEO or an intern, a team captain or the newest player on the team, a chapter president or an associate member. Everyone is equally responsible for acting with integrity. As we said earlier, we know that we all have a strong force inside us that calls us to intervene when we think something is wrong. But in those group settings, we usually just look at everyone else or to see what the leadership team is doing. Be the person who acts first. Be the noble gentleman you've been called to be.